What is up, everybody? It is Wick here. We're going to be talking about Goodwill today. I know this is a very controversial topic. I think it's time I make a dedicated video to it because a lot of people are extremely negative on Goodwill. I am as well. I do find stuff at Goodwill, but I do not like their business model. I do not like the direction I see it going. And we're not just talking about Goodwill, to be honest. We're going to be talking about thrift stores in general. Many of them, their prices are just getting absolutely insane. And this is going to be coming from the perspective of a reseller, but I want everyone to keep in mind that this isn't just about me wanting to find things to make money on. I'm looking at the whole picture here. It's also going to be kind of a ranty video. So if you're not into that kind of video, that's what this is going to be. So recently in my videos, I've been talking about how the prices of Goodwill have been going up. Honestly, they've been going up for years, right? I've been going to Goodwill almost every day for the past 12 years. I was going to Goodwill before that, even before I was reselling. I'm somebody who loves to go into thrift stores. I love to find good deals. I love the thrill of the hunt. And it's getting to the point now where you go into a Goodwill store, the thrill of the hunt isn't like it used to be. Because the prices are so high. They're sending stuff to be sold online. And honestly, if I could just talk to people at Goodwill, people in charge, people that can make actual decisions, this is kind of what I would tell them is to don't forget that you are a thrift store. You're trying to be something you're not when you're pricing things like really high, or you're trying to price something on eBay or like eBay prices. You're sending stuff to be sold online. You're killing your own business model. It's kind of like if you go to McDonald's, you expect to get a $2 cheeseburger. You go to somewhere like Five Guys, right? Maybe you get like a nice big hamburger you're paying like $7 or $8 for. If you started going to McDonald's and the cheeseburgers there were $8, you'd just be like, this is not why I'm coming to McDonald's. You're coming to McDonald's for cheap, fast food. And people come to Goodwill to find deals, thrift store prices, not eBay prices. Even if they're marking, like you'll see something, they'll do the printout, the eBay printout, and they'll have it sells on eBay for $100. We're selling it for $75. That's not a good deal. I mean, we're not looking for like a retail store sale where you get 10, 25% off. And this is all my opinion. Also, I want to keep in mind, I think if you're a thrift store, you should be pricing things at minimum 50% of their value. 75 to 90% off is what I think thrift stores should be. And also I want to say Goodwill and other thrift stores, they have a right to price it whatever they want. But people also have, the decision-making process that they can go shop somewhere else and look for deals. I want to compare like Salvation Army, local thrift store here, a church-run thrift store, and Goodwill. If you look at the church-run thrift store, the prices are just low, so low, like $1 for all pairs of shoes, clothing's like $1 or $2, board games are 50 cents. And even I think those prices are a little bit low, but they're for charity, and that store is always packed. There's always people buying stuff. If you talk to somebody, they're always saying good stuff about it. Like, this thrift store, the prices are great. I find such good deals. There's always a line every morning of like 10 to 15 people waiting to get in. You don't see that at Goodwill. You used to see it at the Salvation Army I went to, be a line every morning, and then they started raising their prices. And people just stopped coming in to the point where it was just me in the morning and an older guy who's basically a hoarder. You go into Salvation Army, you'd see $50 shoes that weren't worth $5. You'd see basic Kohl's brands of clothing priced $20, $25. And what happened was people came in, they see these prices. And when you come into a place like that and you see prices like that, it only takes 1, 2, 3 times max till they're like, I'm not coming back here. And that's what happens. And Salvation Army even got rid of their half off day, which was on a Wednesday. You show up on Wednesday, the whole parking lot would be full in the morning waiting for that place to open. Then just nobody showed up. They couldn't make enough money. The store closed because they weren't fulfilling their business model as being a thrift store. And I'll mention again, of course, I want to find things to resell because I'm a reseller, but we're talking about things priced way too high that most people can't even fathom buying. Like I've mentioned before, the 97-cent glue, Elmer's glue that sells at Walmart for 97 cents. Goodwill was having them $5.99. There's like 6 or 7 of them. Basic mugs, $5 to $10. Toys that should be priced 99 cents are priced $5 or $6. Everything you pick up at some of these Goodwills I go to are just priced way more than anyone's expecting to pay. In fact, I was at Goodwill this morning at the expensive one, and I heard a woman and a guy talking, and the woman was like, I can't believe these prices. It's like she was really upset. She said that she had been donating to Goodwill for a long time, and she expected that this stuff was going to, help people. And she said that she said her sister's house had just burnt down, and she was in there trying to, buy her just basic needs stuff, and everything was priced literally 100, 200, 300% of even retail value in some cases, like pots and pans priced like $30. I mean, you just go to Walmart and get that stuff. And then she even said that. And she said, I'm not donating anymore to Goodwill. And she was very upset. And the guy that she was talking to said, you should go to the church thrift store. Everything's cheap. So I ended up talking to the guy, and he was saying the same thing. He even mentioned the Salvation Army, which at this point is closed 2 years ago. He said, that's what happened to Salvation Army. I'm like, I couldn't agree more. People are noticing this. People are coming in. They're getting mad. They're leaving bad reviews on Google. They're complaining to the employees. I feel sorry for the employees that, have no control over the prices, because they're getting slammed. I hear it every day. And I think Goodwill kind of has this cocky attitude because they kind of have a monopoly on big thrift store chains. Like you have Savers and Salvation Army. Salvation Army is more of an actual charity thrift store. I mean, Goodwill is too, but let's be honest, Goodwill doesn't give a whole lot to charity. I mean, compared to what they make, like they're making like $1 billion company. They're giving more than I would ever give. And they are making a difference just because they make so much money. Don't get me wrong. But they're going unchecked. I think if you was to go and start your own thrift store chain, the exact same business model as Goodwill, you could open your thrift stores right next to Goodwill. You could even call it Better Will and just do what thrift stores should do and price things fair, get donations. Like the key is to just price things fair and put new product out every day, and you're going to make money because you get this stuff donated. And I think Goodwill has, and a lot of thrift stores have just forgotten what they are. They're not retail stores. They're not eBay. People can shop on eBay from their home. They want to go in a thrift store and find a really good deal. And just think, I see like a base price for shoes at Goodwill in this area is $4.99, but you see Goodwill's price up, just garbage shoes, $15, $25. They're just trying to get a little bit more money out, right? But what that does is someone comes in, they see that, they tell their friends, oh, what a bad deal this is. Their friends are like, yeah, Goodwill sucks. And if you talk to a lot of people, they're always talking down on Goodwill. That's just the image they got now. And they can get away with it again because they don't have any real competition. But just trying to get an extra $10 or $15 out of a pair of shoes is causing people to not come into your store, who would be coming in multiple times a week, who would pay the $5 for the shoes and then probably buy $10 worth of stuff throughout the week that would compensate for that. Because every time I go into Goodwill, I'm buying stuff for myself all the time, stuff I wouldn't even know I want. But when the prices are high, I'm obviously not buying any of the stuff. So I think they would make more money. They would have a better image. And the Goodwill that's been raising their price, it used to be every morning you go in, again, a ton of people. All the regulars have stopped going in. There's some people I haven't seen now in months. They just, what's the point of going in with these prices? There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or rhythm to it either. It's just whoever's pricing this stuff. I don't know if they're trying to get more money. Like the management's like, this store needs to make more money, so I get a bonus or whatever. Or if they have somebody like some of the like special needs people they hire, maybe they're not, pricing stuff the greatest. I really don't know what it is, but management needs to step in and get the prices lower because people that shop at that store, they're about to riot. I think it's crazy. Every time you go in there, you just see someone complaining. Apparently, what the guy was saying that was in Goodwill this morning, I was talking about. There's been some stuff on the Facebook page where people are really going off. I'm going to have to try to find that. It might be entertaining to read some of it. Maybe chime in myself, give my opinion. Of course, I've told the employees, I've told management. Of course, I'm not like going off on them, but I'm like, this used to be the best Goodwill in the area, and now it's the worst because of the prices. And, they seem annoyed, like they don't care. But I wish the regional or of course, I wish the CEO would do something about it, but I know the regional people in this area have, because at one point shoes in this area were insane. Like even just basic pairs just priced $7.99. They weren't even keeping them at the $4.99 price. And then all of a sudden, all the shoes were $4.99 again. And some of the management was telling me that, well, people were complaining too much, and the regional management stepped in and they said to keep all shoe prices $4.99. So I think a lot of the prices are just store level. And I know there's some people who think that resellers drive up these prices. I think that's a very rare thing, right? I know I've been told by some Goodwill employees where they say something like, we've had to raise our prices because people are buying the stuff and selling it online. It's like, who cares? Who cares what somebody does with it? That's not the purpose. You're allowed to do whatever you want with what you buy. If you go into a Goodwill expecting thrift store prices, it doesn't matter if you're expecting it because you want to resell it, you want to use it, you want to take it in the parking lot and smash it and burn it. You have a right, to buy it for whatever reason. And if you're worried, if you're raising all your prices because of resellers who are probably 1%, if that, of the customer base, you're just going to destroy yourself, right? And resellers, a lot of resellers, they don't even go into Goodwill. There's better places to source. Honestly, I go to Goodwill because, again, there's some Goodwills that are still pretty good in this area. I find stuff, but I don't need Goodwill to be a successful reseller at all. It's just nice because there's so many in the area. They're always open. When garage sale season and rummage sale season's not around, you can just go in there and find stuff if you go enough. And I know a lot of people, they see the stuff I find and they're like, your Goodwills are so good. And I've said this before, I'm a picker. There's high prices everywhere. Even at the Goodwills I go to, you just have to pick the good prices. They've been pricing shoes up at the very bad Goodwill right now. And I picked up a pair of Nike shoes there. They had $10 on them. I thought they said 20 actually, but when I got home, I'm like, oh, these are only 10, but I just looked them up. They ended up being a rare pair worth $120. I don't think they're looking up that much stuff online. They're just kind of like, this stuff we need to price high because they just think it's worth that. Or maybe it's just the management trying to make their store look better through sales. Honestly, again, I think you get more sales pricing stuff low and getting people in your store. Because if you're a collector, and I know a lot of collectors have given up on Goodwill, the stuff's being sent like that online. 80s, 90s toys, antiques, all that stuff gets sent to be sold on Shop Goodwill. So why go in the store? Why go in the store? If your collectors are going in because they have a chance to find stuff they collect, chances are they're buying a lot of other stuff in the store. And I also see Goodwill pulling all this junk that's not selling off the shelves. They're sending it to the weigh and pay, the bins where it's being sold by the pound. No wonder people that go to these bins find such good stuff because it never sells in Goodwill, because they price it so high and it ends up in the bins. But you think if they just price it fair in their thrift store, people would be coming in, they would be buying it. You wouldn't have to pay all that money to put it in a truck and ship it somewhere and pay the employees to deal with it. A majority of that stuff would just be sold. You'd make customers happy and they would return. It's kind of mind-blowing. It sounds obvious. And I think Goodwill, everybody who doesn't really thrift and they got stuff to donate, the first thing they think of is Goodwill. They don't really think about the prices or that there's smaller like church-run thrift stores that you could donate to that the stuff would be better suited to. And at Goodwill, they get so many donations. Many places they refuse donations because it says we got too much. I wish I was younger, had more energy. I would start a thrift store chain. I really think it could be done. It could be charity based. I mean, I see nothing wrong with like people at the top of these big corporations getting paid, millions of dollars because they are running $1 billion corporation. I really don't even care about any of that. I don't care that they give very little to help people. They always ask you to round up. And that's another thing, that the bad taste in your mouth. The Goodwills around here, they've locked the bathrooms. You can't use the bathroom anymore because they said somebody was stealing something. So you're going to punish all your customers, make them get this nasty bathroom key. It has this wood block on it that everyone who's used the bathroom has touched. They don't even have a sign up that says, needs bathroom key. So you got people there knocking and waiting to go to the bathroom and no one's even in there. It's just annoying. It's stupid. They put prices, like 18 prices on a $5.99 item because they're afraid someone will do a price switch. I mean, Goodwill, you got the best business model there is. You're getting all this stuff for free. Most of the employees, they don't even have to pay because the state pays because of this. They have the special needs employees. I don't know exactly how that works, but I was being told by a manager at Goodwill that some of these stores are barely even having to pay their employees. Their employees are paying, they're barely paying, honestly, because I've been told what they make and it's embarrassing. You can literally go work at like McDonald's and make more than you would make at Goodwill, from what I'm being told. And another quick story, there's a teacher trying to buy kids books. Used to be to buy, if you bought 10 kids books, you get them for, I think, $5. And then I think they raised it to $10. And then they got rid of it. And she was asking about it. And one of the employees there was like, people were stealing books. So we got rid of that. And I'm thinking, you raised the price of books and got rid of that deal because people were stealing books? That's not going to stop anyone from stealing books. People who steal are going to steal anyway. You're just punishing literally a teacher who's trying to buy books for her class. And they want $3 a piece. So to get 10 books, that'd be $30 when it used to be $5. And she just left, and I doubt she'll be back, right? And book prices are just insane at Goodwill. That stuff's just heavily donated, and paperbacks are $3, hardcovers are $3 in my location. I know some Goodwills, they're much more than that. So if I could just give a message to Goodwill or thrift stores or anyone in charge of this stuff, and I know a lot of stores will say the leadership, the regional leadership are coming down on them. I get it. I get how that works, but anyone who has the power to lower the prices and change the image of their thrift store, I think they're going to do better. I want to say that Goodwill thrift stores are so powerful and so unchallenged that probably it's going to be hard for a store to close. However, I do know of a Goodwill store or pretty close to here that has closed. I don't know why exactly. They probably weren't getting enough business, but it's hard to imagine that a thrift store like Salvation Army or Goodwill, who's getting all those donations for free, could actually fail. But I watched over the year my Salvation Army. I knew exactly why. Everyone knows why that store failed is because they lost their customer base. If you're not putting out good stuff at thrift store prices, if there's no opportunity for people to find stuff, they're not going to shop at your store. You can't price a pair of Puma shoes that sell new on eBay for $60, $100 in your thrift store and expect some unicorn to come buy them. And even the things people do buy, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth because you're spending too much usually. And again, I don't think that resellers are particularly hurting these prices. There's going to be some stores that are pricing stuff a bit higher because of resellers, but it's the corporate, it's the big wigs. They know that there's more money to be made trying to sell this stuff online. And in many cases, again, on an item-to-item basis, maybe they're making more money, but I think they would make more money if they had people lined up every morning, very excited to get inside of their thrift store and look for deals. And while they're looking for deals, they're going to be finding all kinds of stuff that they want. The Goodwill I'm upset with right now, I was going in there 4 to 5 times a week. At this point, it's down to 1 time a week. And went in this morning and I'm like, this was a waste of time. So I'm shifting my focus to other places. Some of those places being Goodwill, but it's like, why travel in one direction to this Goodwill that used to be amazing when I can go the other direction? Hit some of these church thrift stores and maybe find something there. And if I do find something, if I'm lucky enough to be the one there to get it, then I know I'm not paying much for it. And the best thing I can recommend is letting your regional Goodwill peeps know, make complaints, be reasonable in your complaints, but complain, leave bad reviews on Google for your store. Again, just be fair with that, because if someone's looking at a crazy person review, they just ignore it. But if it's a very well constructed, you're pointing out, the problems, the flaws with the pricing, and maybe somebody with some intelligence will look at that and be like, hey, we need to change some stuff. Like, our customer base is way down. And I think if you want to raise prices and you want to make more money, you do it on more of like a global scale. Like in this area, I believe like sweatshirts and athletic wears, like the base price is $4.69. Raise it to $4.99, and then eventually raise it to $5.25. Now, do it in small increments. And I think people just buying clothing are still getting a good deal. When you come in and it's like, this is Aero brand and it's new with tags, so we want $30 for that. That's not the best way to get money. But anyway, I think I've made my point. I could ramble about this all day. I've joked with some people that maybe I should just get a job at Goodwill and move up in the company and get the prices lower. Make it great again. Turn it into a real thrift store again, like some of the church run thrift stores where things are 50 cents and $1 still. They're helping their community. They're helping resellers. They're raking in money. They're The turnover on their donations is almost 100%. If Goodwill would do that on a grand scale with all the donation power that they have, I think they would make a lot of people happy and make a lot of money. But I'm sorry for the rant if you didn't enjoy it, but if you did, please hit that like button for me. I really do appreciate it. That's just my thoughts on thrifting and Goodwills and places like that. I'll keep going to these places until it's just no longer worth it, and it's getting close. But you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, flipping_junk. And this has been Wick. Until next time.